So I had my first surgery, I think I was 5 maybe.
It's just a scary thing to have to face.
And they went in and thought they could fix it, but they just made it worse. My childhood was pretty much just full of playing on the Little Tykes basketball hoop in my basement. Those are the best memories. I would put like a Michael Jordan video on the TV, and any move he would make, I would try to copy it on the 5-foot hoop or the 6-foot hoop. I do remember when I moved up to the 6-foot hoop, it was a big day for me.
Non-stop. You just knew he was going to be a basketball player. Josh was a pain in the butt as a kid, just like he is now, but no, he was always very focused from very early in his life.
I mean, I tried some other sports when I was little, soccer and football and baseball. I stopped because I knew they weren't for me. From the time I could start playing, it was just basketball, basketball, basketball.
I think he was around 5 or 6, and he went over after dinner and he sat down on the couch, and we kind of looked at him and we're like, what's the matter? And he goes, my heart's going fast. You run over and you check the pulse, and it was beating out of his chest.
The flu was going through the house, and I felt like, maybe I might have the flu. My mom cooked some dinner. I remember we had pork chops and broccoli, and after the meal, I just felt bad.
Threw him in a car, took him to the ER. As soon as we brought him in, doctors just converged on him.
My heart, I could feel it pounding in my chest.
Because he had an EKG going, they were able to identify what the condition was right away, which was this
supraventricular tachycardia. It's basically, you have like an extra electrical passageway. I had the first ablation, and they went in and thought they could fix it, thought they did fix it, but they just made it worse. And so I had to have a second surgery probably a year later.
We went to the best people in the world, told them at the time, I said, I know you're going to think this is stupid, but I said, this kid's going to be a basketball star. I said, maybe a pro. I said, you need to fix this.
After my sophomore season, we had the state 3-point contest.
Yeah, baby, come on. Let's go, Josh. 12-1.
My older brother, Brandon, he saw a video on ESPN of Nick Stauskas doing a drill where you have 2 basketballs, 1 rebounder, and 5 minutes. And you got to shoot and make as many threes as you can. We looked up what the actual record was. It was like 132. My brother told me, hey, let's try it this thing.
133, 134, 135.
He had set this world record, and I had asked him just in passing, I said, have you gotten any contacts from anybody? Because he had been interviewed by a bunch of people, a bunch of the news stations, and he had this email from the Spanish Professional League. So got on the phone with him, and we just said, let's try it.
Josh Ruggles se ha vuelto a imponer en el concurso de triples plátano de Canarias que se ha celebrado en el
As far as college plans, they are kind of off on the horizon, but have you got any interest from any prospective colleges that see how you can shoot the three-pointer and say, hey, we need a guy like this on our roster?
I've gotten some interest from Division II schools and NAIA schools.
Okay.
Multiple players on my AAU team have gotten a lot of interest also. Some have offers, so that helps me get in front of college coaches as well.
I had 5 scholarship offers my senior year that I got. Grace College was the first school to offer me, and I loved their coaches. They were awesome. I loved the campus. For me, it was I just realized it wasn't the right fit, I guess. And so it came down to either Loras or Aurora. I was sitting there with Matt Dacey at my house, and he said, let's just flip a coin, and whatever it lands on, that's where you go. And so I flipped a coin, and it landed on Loras. And I was, we did it as a joke, but I was like, let's do it. Called up Coach Martin, told him I was coming, and, haven't looked back, it was the best decision of my life. I love it here.
The minute you knew that his recruitment was open through his brother or his dad and going through that, I was like, I just want to talk to him. Because at the end of the day, we want what's best for Josh. I've had a relationship with him and his family for a while, and if they think that Loras and playing for me and my staff here at Loras is a good fit, then we want him.
get a few weeks into the season, we're doing workouts. So I'd blare Taylor Swift, and I'd just run around the locker room, you know, hitting the walls, going crazy, trying to get everybody awake. And so I'm doing this one of the mornings, and I'm like, I'm dizzy right now. You know, you better wake up, Josh. We got to lift. I walk to the locker room, and as I'm walking there, again, everything just goes black. Drove to Mayo, and they checked everything out and found out that I had something called myocarditis, which is basically like I think it's the middle layer of my heart was swollen. And so what that meant was that if you had an irregular rhythm with the myocarditis, it could like spark a heart attack, basically, or heart failure. I had to sit out for 4 months, and I couldn't walk upstairs, I couldn't shoot, I couldn't walk up the hills here. I had to go real slow through everything because I couldn't elevate my heart rate. Going from thinking I made a great move, I'm coming here to have a great season, to being told you might not ever be able to play basketball again, was something that I was not prepared for.
It's kind of scary. Anytime he plays basketball, like it could be like his last game.
That could have killed him. That was, in fact, that's I think the second biggest heart-related killer of athletes.
Both my parents were like, well, even if you do get cleared, maybe you shouldn't play anymore. You know, is it worth the risk of dropping down on the court? Yes, it is worth the risk to me. And I went back 2 months later, and they officially cleared me. They actually told me, they said there's 3 different outcomes. One is that it'll keep swelling up and you have to get a transplant. The second is that it'll go back to normal, but there will be scarring, which basically means that part of your heart will be dead. And if that's the case, then you'll just have an increased risk of dropping dead on the court. And then the third was that it'll go back to normal and there will be no lasting effects. So I'm lucky I got the second. So I have scarring, part of my heart's dead, but it's fine. I mean, it's way better than the third option.
Michael Jordan. Okay, good. Michael Jackson.
I had to take that. What kind of basketball player are you?
What do you mean, what kind of basketball player?
I don't know if you can have a short introductory paragraph into Josh. He's a very complex person.
He's hardworking and he's lighthearted.
Focused and caring. He never misses a day of workouts. He works like Michael Jordan works at basketball. I mean, there's people like that just put in 25 to 50% more effort than anybody else, and it's effort that's focused effort.
The reason I wear number 20 is because of my buddy who's got a really rare form of cancer, and seeing that is something that keeps me going, knowing how lucky I am to be able to play. No matter where you're at in life, there's always somebody who would give something to be in your situation. It changes everything, not just for yourself, but for others too. Play for them, be positive for them, give it your all for them.